Hey guys, it's Hoi from Dynasty, and in this video, I want to show Bong Wu Guard from Wing Chun. Bong as in wing arm, and Wu as in protecting hand or guarding hand. Now when used together, it looks sort of like the Philly shell, or the cross guard, or the Z guard in boxing, but of course, it's got a bit of Kung Fu flavor to it. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends that want to see Kung Fu techniques, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Starting off, for the Bong Wu Guard, it's a defensive shell technique. It's not offensive. It's a defensive technique in Wing Chun. So right now, Robbie and I are sparring with our big gloves on, just some kickboxing rounds. And I'm about to apply the Bong Wu Guard in just a second. And you'll notice that you can't just use Bong Wu Guard anytime, anywhere. You have to pick the right places to use it in. So there you go. I just used the Bong Wu Guard just now, and I'm going to break it down further with MMA gloves.
Nice.
So here I am with Robbie doing a sparring round. He's got the big gloves on, I got the small gloves on, and I'm just going to let you guys watch this footage, see how it plays out first before I start breaking it down in slow motion. But as you're watching this in real time, I will narrate and describe what's going on. So I didn't tell Robbie to do anything special. I told him that, hey, we're just gonna spar, use your big gloves, I'm gonna use small gloves, and I never told him what I was going to do. I just told him, okay, throw your boxing punches, throw hooks, try and hit me as many times as you can, to the body, to the face, whatever. And for me, I'm applying, my Wing Chun, my Bong Wu Guard, okay? So I'm moving in and out, weaving my hands, okay, my protecting hand and my wing arm, to basically deflect and defend against all of these punches, whether they're jabs, whether they're crosses, whether they're hooks, whether they're overhand rights. And of course, when I feel like it's the right time, I close the distance and I stick to Robbie. I just smacked him in the face there. I stick to Robbie so that it negates all of his power, it negates all of his space. And if he has no space, he can't generate power. That's how boxing works. And look how I am pushing him back, and I'm always breaking his posture. I'm off-balancing his center all the time. So it makes it very difficult for him to actually generate any power from his strikes. He's essentially throwing arm punches right now, and I'm not that concerned about it, because I'm breaking down his center, I'm breaking down his posture. And now we're gonna watch this in slow motion and see what I'm doing. So now that we're watching this in slow motion, let's break this down. You can see I have my hands outstretched at the very beginning. That's basic Wu Sao, right? I'm gauging the distance, gauging, his jabbing hand, trying to paw my way in, and right there, right, I use a Hun Sao, circling hand, to pummel inside and grab a hold of Robbie in the clinch. And this is really just kind of controlling his arms, controlling his head position a bit, just to make it difficult for him. You see how I'm sticking to his hands, and I'm circling in, doing some lan cao right here, just fencing hand into his chin so that he's off balance and he's not really able to throw too many punches or strikes at me. Same thing here, just putting out my feelers out there, sticking to his hands, sticking to his biceps, sticking to his shoulders so that he's not able to punch me from here. I'm on the outside. You see how I'm using my Bong Sao right there? It's kind of like a shell movement right there, Bong Wu. And it blocks and deflects everything that's coming my way. And here I've closed the distance, clinched right in. Again, using my circling hand, or in jiu-jitsu or wrestling, just pummeling and circling on the inside. Here I'm using more combinations of Bong Wu just to block all of Robbie's punches. As I'm applying the Bong Wu Guard, okay, a couple of tips couple of pointers to keep in mind. I'm not just standing there in one spot, holding my arms up and expecting for me to block every single shot that comes in. That's simply untrue and a very low IQ way to approach a fight. I'm always moving around, moving my feet, changing the position of where I am, where I'm standing, using angles, getting out of the way of the punches, and if Robbie moves too close to me, I then take the opportunity to close the gap, close the distance, stick to him, and then clinch or use my sticky hands to neutralize his attacks. So don't be stationary, don't stand in one spot, because that's a sure way to get knocked out, to get hurt when you're too predictable. And remember, guys, the Bong Wu Guard is a defensive maneuver, but you can't rely on the defensive maneuver the entire time of the fight. Eventually, some of these shots are going to slip through, and they're going to start clipping you. So you have to be aware of that. You're going to eventually have to start attacking. So at some point, I'm going to have to change my structure and close the gap and stick to my opponent. It just depends on the situation and what's happening. But I always have to shift the distance from being all the way out to somewhere in the middle where I'm sticking to an example like this where I'm up close and I'm using constant forward pressure to push my opponent back so that he cannot sink his feet, he cannot root his feet onto the ground and start generating power. Again, distance control is a big deal when you're trying to use Wing Chun for defense. You can't just stand there and get whacked. Most of these guys on YouTube, most of these guys on the internet, when they try to use their Kung Fu, they fail in many ways because they just don't understand, what is actual real fighting. You have to be moving, you have to be mobile, you can't be stationary, and you also, at some point, have to also initiate the attack yourself. Such as, like right now, where Robbie has gotten too close to me, and I have to come in and start attacking him in return.